issue. And based on Europe's troubling experience, should we be demanding answers now about how the vetting of these refugees, which may be migrants in some cases, would be done? So the drawdown was announced. The Center for Immigration Studies since then was monitoring a number of bills that would speed up the resettlement process to the detriment of our safety. Some being considered would mean that applicants would no longer have to show that they perform sensitive and trusted work to qualify, would no longer have to show that they're at risk if they stay in Afghanistan either. The number of visas available would nearly double, and the need for applicants to have a medical screening for contagious diseases for entry would be eliminated. Here now is Art Arthur, resident fellow of law and policy at the Center of Immigration Studies. Art, you feel it, right, that all the rules are going to be kind of thrown out the window and the floodgates are going to be open here?
Absolutely, Laura. There's a huge impetus for that right now. It's crucial to note that when it comes to vetting, first you have to identify the person, then you have to have access to some records that will tell you something about that person. When President Trump put in his travel restrictions, wrongly derided as a Muslim ban, the reason for those travel restrictions was because we couldn't identify people. We couldn't get access to documents, and some of those governments were hostile. Well, now we're in a situation where we have an Afghan government that's hostile to the United States, that's not going to give us information about the people who are coming here, and our ability to identify many of those people, particularly the ones who didn't work directly with the United States government, is going to be next to impossible. We're not going to know whether they have criminal records. We're not going to know whether they have terrorist ties. We're not really going to know anything about them at all. And yet there's a huge push to bring large numbers of them into the United States. And that's a big problem. That's a national security problem and a criminal problem.
I saw someone on, I think it was on Facebook, making an interesting point that in 9/11 you had all these loopholes or gaping holes in our system that were exploited by the Saudi hijackers. They knew that they go to a school, they could stay, or they could switch their visa or overstay their visa. And there's some concern that, look, there are going to be vulnerabilities here. At the very least, there's going to be an opportunity to game the system here. And who wants to game the system more but people want to do us harm? And if people think that's not a contingency, but you don't need to make a contingency plan for that either?
Yeah, I mean, that was the major finding of the 9/11 Commission report, that there were loopholes, that they were identified by people that wanted to do us harm, and they were exploited. I'm concerned that the same thing is going to happen here. We remember a few years ago, Ms. Merkel talked about, individuals who were infiltrating the streams of migrants to Germany. The same thing could very easily happen here. In fact, quite frankly and unfortunately, I think it's probably likely to happen here, and we're not going to know about it until it's too late. Yeah. That's why proper vetting of these individuals for national security risks is absolutely crucial.
Belgium, Germany, Sweden, 6 EU countries have been asking to be able to resume deportation of Afghan migrants before this whole thing went down. And I think some of them still want to send these people back, but I guess the EU Commission on Human Rights says you can't do it. It's too dangerous, obviously, now. But they've been trying to deport as many people as they can, as quickly as they can, but we're not listening. Art, thank you. We got to roll, but thank you. We'll have you back soon.